Welcome back to another Alliance War video. This is for Loki versus SSx. We know a bunch of people over there, so this should be a nice close one. Andrew in specific used to play with them for a season, so he's looking to get a win here, and so are we. We want to start 2-0. I had a lot of stuff going on. I was throwing in my nephew's graduation party from high school, so right after my fiance's birthday plans that we had, we went right into my sister's and started planning. I had set up the whole backyard. It was this whole ordeal. So while I was able to plan, movement was very difficult and prep time and dueling was very difficult. But here we decided that I take Namor into this damage reflection node, and I can fight Elsa quite well. I fight her every day in AQ. I can dex her specials, but I didn't have any time to duel. I was just trying to move. I had to open up 23 Bishop, Kate Bishop. So I was like, okay, as long as I don't die, I popped an invulnerability boost here, so I can tank an SB3 because I was unsure about her power gain, and everything seems to be going perfectly fine. Namor, here I eat a combo to the face and lose my Indy, but I did pop an SB3 boost, I believe, if I remember correctly. So I was like, okay, it's fine. She's at 70% right now. I just need her to throw this special 2 into the block and just take it. I know it's gonna hurt, but it's all right. I can get to my Imperious Rex and do some major damage. So at this point, I'm like, okay. I want to basically parry and then dash at her as damage reflection is up while I have an SB3, so I can ideally reflect, do the damage, and reflect even more damage. And that was the plan right there. I got the parry and I dashed at her, and I'm not sure if it reflected any damage, but I wanted to get in and out of this fight as much as possible. Namor was in contention to be my next R5. I think his damage is very underrated. Oh, it did reflect. I just saw it right there, 22k. So I really like how he's easy to play. You get to SB3, you can spam specials just like X. So for war, it makes it really, really easy. Now next up is this Abs Man, and I do have that 25% boost on. I'm SB3 protection on, and I have my mutant boost on because I'm going to be running 150% boost for the first set of fights, and then I have to wait for some other fights to go down so I can come back and take the boss. Now here, power start 1, I'm just going to parry heavy and basically just get to 100 charges. I don't know if this person is running max limber. It just seemed like I had a little bit longer on the time to ramp my my mind control charges, which is fine. But as I'm knocking him down, he is gaining more charges because he's immune to armor break. So I am aware of this because he's obviously refining and he's going to be doing damage to my block. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. Here I go for a combo instead of a heavy to manually trigger mind control, and I'm going to throw this special into Abs Man. He has no resistances versus special 3, so it does a healthy amount, and he's basically going to go down. So again, I didn't have time to duel or prep for any of my fights. Really, it was just kind of like I had to hide to do these fights because there was a lot of people at the house and everything. So all I had really time to do was to change my masteries. And for my Namor fight, I didn't remove my precision mastery because I did want to do as much damage as possible and tank an SB3, although I lost my Indy. But I removed them for this fight because heading into the Kate fight, I don't want to crit versus her. I just want to basically get to my special 3, and if she throws a special 1, great. So that was basically the plan. I was going to 4-hit combo her into heavy counter if I needed to, because it's power focus 2, and I'm trying to watch bubble shield, but I do not want her to throw an SB2. So here I heal up a little bit, and I have a White Magneto pre-fight on here, so I can start with a parry heavy and not worry about her evade. Professor X would need to get to 25 vigilant or 25 charges in order to get my vigilance up. So the White Magneto definitely helps here. So there, I get 1 heavy, and I'm like, okay, perfect. I used power start 1. I crit there, unfortunately. It's 18k crit, so that's great, but that's not what I wanted. And she throws a special. I'm going to take it into the block because I want to see what it does on a non-boss into the block. And at this point, what I like about Professor X getting rooted is that I can still heavy while rooted because it's a 1-hit heavy, so it pushes her back and out of the root. And here, what I should have done is just throw my special 3, not try to heavy charge, because she was at SB2, and if she throws that into my block, I'm basically dead or dying. But that's just, you know, a mental note for next time. I get to my SB3, and it's game over basically for her. So those are the first sets. I opened up section 2, and then the plan was for someone to take 26 out, and the right side, it was Lags, Justin, and myself, basically had the 54, 55, and I had the boss. So if we all moved in unison, then we could all, you know, we could all boost through, because I needed to clear Lags on a Wong shared mini in section 2. But I was just a little late seeing the tags to line up with when I could move, because of my nephew's party that we were throwing, and he had a fabulous time. It went great and everything. We had prizes for his friends and stuff. We had ranked games. So I put on. I figured that I wasn't going to be able to take the boss that night. And here I paused because I'm hiding, and I think somebody's about to come in and interrupt me. So I wanted to make sure I was okay to keep fighting. But I throw 150% boost on because I don't want to use a 200 because I need it for the boss, and I'm trying to minimize spending those. And because, yeah, I figured that Justin was already asleep. Lags ended up taking the Wong, so he's going to take the 55 Sassy. So I was like, I'll just clear up to the boss, and I'll take the boss in the morning. So at this point, I have a White Magneto pre-fight on a Tunama, and I'm just doing, you know, parry heavy, trying to bait some special ones. At 90 charges, I do a combo here to create spacing, and I have my crit precision, my precision points off at this point, and I crit back to back there. So he's got quite a few, you know, prowess passives on, and of course he throws a special 2, not a special 1. So I block all that, but it doesn't do that much damage, and I'm at my, I have my falter, so I just heavy charge into my special, and this fight's over. Next up is Quicksilver. So with Quicksilver is on this protection node where you have to knock him down, and his evade counts as a cleanse charge, if you will. So the plan is basically to hit into his block and wait 10 seconds for my falter to come up, and then use my falter to heavy charge, and you see I have 150% boost on, and I'm going to change it to 12-200 because Andrew ended up taking to 54 Mangog with Ghost, and I saw that. I was like, well, if I'm hiding to move, I'm gonna hide to move to take Quicksilver and go right through the boss, and I'm gonna boost, you know, get my big boost on for the boss as well. So that's why I swapped everything. So I basically wasted some boost there. So that's unfortunate, but it's my fault because I couldn't line up with the timing. But here, I'm going to hit into his block, and again, I didn't duel at all, which is not what I do typically. So at this point, I'm like, is that my falter up there, the 20? Or what is that? Is it on cooldown? And I'm like, oh, wait, it's not on cooldown. So here, I dash back just to get, you know, some spacing. I'm like, okay, now I'm okay. Take that heavy to the face, but it's okay, it gives me power. And now I'm just getting to the fight. I'm over 50 charges. I'm at 2 bars of power because I use the PS1. I have a whiplash. I know I have slow on me, that's what's going to be healing with me with willpower, and I just need to get the protection down to get over 100 charges. So there, it all lines up, and it just works out really, really well. I'm running max recoil because I am going to be taking the boss, and I want as much damage as possible. And you know, the rank for Professor X from R4 to R5, it really does help in a lot of ways. The combat power rate, I've noticed, I get more, obviously combat power rates increase, so you get more power, but it's just really nice with the flow of the fight, of what you're trying to accomplish and get in and out of your rotation. So that Quicksilver went down rather well, and at this point I am off to take the boss. So again, this is the only fight where I dueled a little bit, and I figured that I could heavy counter. I know he crits through the block, so that's gonna hurt, so I don't want to do too much, but I'm using a power start 1, and I have my precision points off, and the goal is just to get to a special 3, obviously. So I'm going to heavy counter him to ramp up, and then use my falter to get more mind control charges. And once I'm at 100, then I'm going to basically just beat him into his corner and bait SB1s. And it actually works out quite well at the start of this fight. He does do hefty damage through the block, so 5 hit combos in the block are not what I need. But there I got to falter up, and I'm like, alright, I'm at 70 charges, and my Sig's going to take me to 75, and I just need him to throw this SB1. And I practice this quick heavy while he does it in my duels, so I can get, you know, a little bit more ramp. But I'm at 5, but my falter is about to come back in about 5 seconds, and it comes back here, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Get away from him and heavy, and I'm at 100. This fight is basically over in my head. All I need to do is bait this SB1, but he's not throwing it, and he's not throwing it. Now I'm worried that he's going to get me in the corner with his SB1, and that's just all bad. So here, you know, I beat it into his block a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I need him to throw this special, and that hurt in the block. And I'm like, I just need him to throw this, and he does. Thankfully, I go red, and I just need to dash away, heavy charge, spam. Now, this is a rank 5 Zemo boss. I was like, I typically don't like to heavy charge after my first special 3 because of the timing, but I was like, okay, I have my falter up, or I believed I have my falter up, and I do. So I heavy charge instead to get one more prowess to do more damage, just to speed up the process, so I don't run out of mind control, you know, time. But you see that this one does, you know, a good amount of damage, takes him to about 21%, and the last special is definitely going to kill him. So ultimately, I'm very happy with the way this fight went down. I should have beat his block while I was baiting that one SB1 that cornered me, because I had power to feed him under 2 bars to control the spacing and get that going. But that was the war for me. I missed out on one fight because I was not available. And you know, here I just put, you know, Baron X, because, you know, Professor X is basically a Baron at this point. But yeah, I'm sure Andrew loved that cheesy little note there. But we did end up winning the war. Shout out to Clown, Karate Mike, and Andrew for the MVPs. This was a close one. Both alliances were basically trying to lose. I had friends telling me congrats with the win, and I'm like, I'm seeing my feed light up with some deaths. I think you guys are winning. He's like, oh, I didn't even check. So you can see we won 7-8, and we were going to lose on time. And that Zemo fight, if I would have died, basically would have lost us the war. So we'll see you guys in the next one, and hope your season's going well.